Hey, you are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole, the Kawasaki King, Farrell.
Hey, tighten your damn helmets.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Man, what a way to welcome us to episode 65. Mr. Evil Knievel with those inspiring words, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, and enjoying life.
Yep, and if you're going to enjoy life, it wouldn't be possible without our first responders and our brave men and women of the armed forces. I live next to a fire department. I can hear the sirens right now. Makes me not only proud to be an American, but so grateful to have all these brave men and women fight for our freedoms, fight for our safety, so we can do this podcast.
Yep, absolutely. And a shout out to those POWs and the families of those KIA and MIA, those who gave all. Thank you so much. Much respect from all of us along for the ride. Man, before we get to this next guest, I'm pretty excited for. I'm going to tell you, we got to give a shout out to our partners like Kicker Performance Audio. All your 12-volt needs, car, truck, boat, motorcycle, off-road vehicle, Kicker has you covered. Look them up, kicker.com. Find them on Instagram at Kicker Audio or on Facebook at Kicker. And of course, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Eyewear. Tommy and his gang have worked so hard to achieve his dream of Bomber Eyewear becoming the blue jeans of sunglasses. Man, everybody should own at least 10 pairs or 18 like me. Dude, over 40 styles of frames, and I don't even know how many lens combinations, blue ice, red ice. Today I'm wearing the dark smoke polarized safety lens. And of course, the White Wraps Matter Boogie Bomb. Find them online, bombereyewear.com, or on Instagram at bombereyewear, all one word. Of course, the Premix podcast, our man Cole, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera and doing MC and event announcement work. Man, hit him up, slide into his DMs at the Premix Podcast on Instagram. That's all one word, the at symbol, ThePremixPodcast. That's it. Slide into his DMs, get booked for your 2024 event for his hosting abilities, or look him up to get some photos at your next desert race. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film. Man, find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film, getting all of our video madness up on our YouTube channel at Mad Dog Media and YouTube podcast. Check us out there when you get a chance, and know it's all because of Kelsey Morrell Film. Of course, you've probably seen our new templates and our new cool stuff on social media, and that is great thanks to Hey Keeks Marketing. Look her up online, heykeeks.com, on Instagram at Hey Keeks Marketing for all your website needs, whether you need a website built or a website maintained. If you need social media done, social media campaigns, look her up. Yell, Hey Keeks. Dude, let's get right to this.
Another Along for the Ride alumni, possibly the most frequent guest we've had.
I think so. This will be 3 times.
Without further ado,
Here he is, folks. Mitch Guthrie Jr.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping on, man. I really appreciate it. I know we've been trying to do this for a couple weeks and between my short notice travel schedules and your travel schedules and shop work and all that, man, it's we almost didn't get going tonight, but yes, we did. So it's rad. Thanks for jumping on, dude. I really appreciate it. We want to jump like right into meat and potatoes. We're going to before we're done, we want to, of course, what would it be? Cole, prequel, pre
I don't.
we want to preface the car.
There we go.
So, but man, you have had since you were on several months ago, even when you were on with the whole Red Bull, was it Red Bull Junior Off Road Team USA? When all three of you guys were on, um, you've got a lot of racing under your belt since then. So, man, you had all the rally raids this year, right?
Yep, yep.
And then man,
Mint. Did I do the mint? Yeah, Mint, Vegas to Reno, Silver State. So a little less on the calendar this year for the like domestic racing with Polaris, but now looking onto this year, we got a full schedule with Polaris, and it's going to be a busy one. So back at it this year on the both sides of the racing, pretty much for myself.
wow, dude, I thought you were busy last year. You Vegas to Reno, you had a pretty good run there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good. We got second
Yeah.
overall, first in class. We were right behind Seth, so
Yep.
it's a good race. A tough one this year. We had a brand new car that we built, so a couple little issues, but I think for that race, everyone has some little gremlins they got to get through. So yeah, it was a good one. Didn't get the win, but my buddy Seth got us and got the first place, so I was happy for him.
Yeah, I was watching the tracking, and actually, at one point, I think all three of you Red Bull Junior USA guys were like 1, 2, 3 or something like that, and you guys were hauling the mail, dude.
Yeah, Vegas to Reno. Pretty much all the races now are like it's a sprint race. So even though it's 500 miles long, it's just you're pretty much driving like 100% the whole time. And yeah, it comes down to the couple little issues we had throughout the race. Like that's what can make or break the race for us. Like if you have one flat tire, one blown belt, one this or that, sometimes that's all it takes to go from first to second. So
Yeah.
yeah, this year a couple little things, but it was really fun and yeah, definitely a lot of battles. So it was a cool one.
That's awesome. Uh, I mean, when you're used to things like Dakar and where you're doing a Vegas to Reno every day for 14
14.
times in 15 days.
Yeah, it definitely switches things up. Like now being home in the States, doing the races here, they're still tough. You know, they're different from the rally raid stuff. Sometimes even though you have long days, you have little breaks with the liaisons and stuff. And Vegas to Reno's 500 miles straight. You just pull in for fuel and a quick drink of water and 30 seconds and that's it. So it's different but the same. We Dakar I wouldn't say is quite as long as Vegas to Reno every day, but you have some really long days for sure. And then when you stack that up to 14 days straight, then it's much more than Vegas to Reno.
Yeah, for sure. And the rally raids. So how's the rally raid stuff? I mean, it didn't seem to me like the actual race section or the liaisons, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Were quite as long as like they are at Dakar, but are they? I mean, it seemed like we were getting results back earlier than we would at Dakar, and I don't know if it was time change or what, but
Yeah, we had we had a few races. So we had Argentina, which the time change isn't so bad for us. So that was nice. And then Morocco to finish out the year. So and Sonora as well. So Sonora was in Mexico. So that was really nice to have one that was close to home. But yeah, the looking at the different races, you have Dakar, which is the big one. That's the first race that starts out the year, but it's the biggest one of the year, and it's this year will be 14 days, so super long. And then you go to all the last year there were 5 races throughout the series. So when you do the other 4, those ones are a lot shorter. So it's still long days, but you only do 5 stages instead of 14. So it kind of turns it into a little more of a sprint race with all the other cars, but still at the same time, every single race, there's so much stuff that happens over 5 days, and definitely not saying that they're easy, but it's a lot different than Dakar for sure.
Yeah, and you're still in the MC5.
Yeah, still in that all last year and then this year as well at Dakar.
And I would imagine last year it was basically, or this year, I guess it'd be, because it was January of 23. It was basically a new car, right? A whole new deal.
Yeah, we did one race, but we did the race last year in 2022. That was we did the race in Morocco, and then directly after that was my very first test in the MC5 car. So we tested there, did a race in Spain as basically a test, and the guys did a full rebuild and everything, and came to Dakar. And yeah, we were leading Dakar on stage 5 until we had an issue, and then still won 6 or 7 stages last year, and then kind of had to work our way back up. We had Abu Dhabi, which I think we won 1 or 2 stages, but wasn't a great race. And then from there, it was finally got the car dialed in, didn't really have issues. So we won Sonora, we won Argentina, and then Morocco. We had some issues and lost the championship there. We ended up second. So it's a good year, and I'm really happy with the team because in rally raid stuff, usually you have to test and do races for couple years or at least 1 full year to be competitive. So for us to be almost winning the championship this year, it stings, but it's also pretty cool for us because first year in that car and the vehicle, the team. So I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we were cheering you, and we had updates on all of them. And you started your was it a vlog, the blog, the YouTube?
Yeah.
So
got the YouTube going now, so that's been a lot of fun, and getting at kind of behind the scenes for every race. So whoever's watching, go follow and subscribe and like. But yeah, definitely, I think that's something that's really fun for me is getting everything on video and everyone being able to see not only the races in the States, like behind the scenes and during the race, but also the rally raid stuff. I hope that people are interested in it because it kind of gives you a look at what actually happens there. Because as much as we can video while we're there, having someone there behind us the whole time showing what's going on is really cool and gives everyone an idea of what's going on.
oh yeah, for sure. And it's totally, I watched quite a bit. I didn't watch the whole thing in Argentina, but I watched a lot of your clips that you had posted also. And man, just cool stuff. And I know Cole follows it also. Have you caught the last one yet? I know it's going to break your heart, Mitchy, but I haven't caught Morocco yet. So
that's perfect. You still have time to check it out. It's right
oh
there.
yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you a little teaser, Lauren, because everyone listening to this needs to follow and subscribe to Mitch's channel because it is a very good vlog. It shows you not only the upside of racing, but also the hardships and the reality of it and having to shake a car down right before qualifying and all sorts of stuff. But a little teaser for you, Lauren. If you think Mitch has the perfect job of just racing in the dunes, just wait till you see what happens when the car doesn't make it through the dunes, and I'll leave it at that.
Exactly. Yeah. Some long days in the desert sometimes.
Yeah, that man, I'm definitely I gotta get it up and watch it now for sure. The and where so we've been talking about it, but where do they find you?
Where did they find? Oh, where do they find us on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's a Guthrie Racing YouTube, so you
Okay.
can type in my name or Guthrie Racing and find us there, and everything's on that channel. You can also go to my Instagram, of course, which is Mitch Guthrie 5, and then we have the links and everything there where you can go click on it and check them out. But it's cool, yeah. I mean, even people that have never seen it, the thing I like about YouTube is you can just watch them at your own pace, and if you haven't subscribed and you subscribe now, you can still go back and check everything out and catch up on the year and see everything we've been up to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to get the link for that because I have a note in my phone from when we were texting about it, I don't know, like a month ago
Mm-hmm.
to make a post with the link. Um, so just to help it grow for you, do what we can for sure. So I was listening to our first episode with you, which was last year. Was that was this year, Cole, right?
I believe it was early this year. I had to look
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
back.
It was shortly after Dakar. And
Yeah.
so there's some stuff we talked about. And I wrote notes while I was on the airplane.
That's awesome.
I couldn't write in my phone notepad fast enough. Um, so I was like, I was having a snack at the same time. But couple things I wanted to cover. We know the starting out like Dakar was well, you raced the race in the MC5 and then Dakar last year. Um, how how much what's new on the MC5, let's say?
A lot. Since it was a new car, even at Dakar, it was a very new car this last year. So um, throughout the year, changed a ton of things and just little updates. And yeah, I mean, even early in this year, we kind of moved to like a new chassis. So anyone that would look at the car would know, um, it's the same exact car, but they're just in rally raid. You have the restrictor, so the cars, they all have about the same power. So it just comes down to lightening up the car, getting the rolling resistance, and everything as light as possible. So throughout the year, the team works super hard to get to the minimum weight. That's what everyone's goal is, to get to the minimum weight. So the car's as light as possible. And then from there, there's not a ton you can do. You just got to, try and outdrive everyone. So um, the car looks the same. The team is, been doing great all year, and just, a little different chassis and stuff like that. But overall, nothing too crazy. It's been a really good base. So just kind of building off that, it's, lots of little things, but all that adds up. So now we've kind of got the formula, the car's dialed in, the shocks, all the settings. So thankfully I'm able to kind of show up, and it's the same car that I've driven every time, and the shocks are set up the same, and all that. So I'm really at home in the car now, which is nice, and can just kind of show up and get in there and feel at home.
Yeah, that's awesome. For those of you who don't know a lot of the technical stuff about these cars, um, that to be competitive in the first year of a new car, um, without doing tons of testing, really,
Mm-hmm.
is unbelievable. And to have a success that you've had so far this year, well, I guess this year's wrapped now, but um, it's crazy. But there's always little tweaks. There's always something, and especially on a new car, I would imagine. And you're not, you guys aren't like trying to reinvent the wheel. Obviously, you've had a good platform and you're just tweaking up a good platform. So it's pretty rad, to hear that there's some changes, but nothing too crazy. And you touched on suspension. And I know, like, when you're racing here in the US or in Baja or in Mexico, um, a lot of the side by side vehicles here, in your case, Polaris Razor, you will um, like adjust the shocks for more of the type of racing you're going to experience during that particular race, whether it's super rocky or um, do you do anything like that over there, like from stage to stage?
Yeah, totally. We've kind of found it takes a long time, but we've kind of found a good base setup. So from there, it's a very small tweak. So we'll either raise the car or lower the car depending on the how the stage is looking or where we are. Like you go to Spain and that's more rally road, so you're going to be lowering the car, and then you go to somewhere like Morocco is super rocky and rough, so you need the ride height really high to drive over the rocks. So that's one thing. And then other than that, yeah, it's just small tweaks with the settings, the high speed, low speed, rebound. But now that we found, a good base on the car, it makes it really nice because we just go, one click here, one click there, and just slowly dial it in. But yeah, it totally changes. And even at Dakar, you're do usually about half of it's in more like rocky, mountainous, like dirt road type of terrain, and then you go to like the dunes. So in the dunes, we definitely stiffen up the car because you're diving the car into faces of dunes and
Right.
climbing dunes and then going down them and doing the same thing. So it all depends, and we always look at for people that don't know, at Dakar, they give you a briefing of the next stage the night before. So you finish stage one, that night they give you a briefing for stage two. So that's where you kind of get they give you just little bits of information. You have to take that and try to plan for the next day. Sometimes you could go with the wrong settings or sometimes you don't, but thankfully we don't have to tweak it too much. So you can't really go too wrong, at least.
Well, and I would imagine the team has a great appreciation for your talents because you're not just a chauffeur. Like you're a wheelman, dude. I mean, and you've built cars, you continue to build cars, and you've done everything from literally the smallest task to completely building a car and everything in between. So the team, I would imagine, has um, a great amount of thankfulness and respect for your abilities. Because you don't just get in so many racing series anymore. The guys come out of the video game and get in the car and they drive the car, and you know they don't know anything NASCAR. um, but you're actually, if you had to, you could probably set the suspension up yourself, no problem.
Yeah, it's really nice because on one side I have all my experience, and it's really cool to be there and know how to work on a car and know what the mechanics are doing every night. We don't really have the opportunity to work on the cars at all. We leave that to the mechanics and the engineers, but being able to work with them and just even know what's going on or know what they've changed on it the night before and stuff is kind of just gives you peace of mind, rather than if you didn't know anything about a car and you were just a good driver, you don't know what's been done to it. So
Right.
that's nice. And yeah, I mean, I like to, I've definitely learned a lot doing the rally raid because you have to give a lot of feedback. And after every time you're driving the car, you have engineers asking you questions. So definitely like to be able to give good input, but also at the same time, it's a lot of fun because you have a lot of smart people and good engineers that are helping you along the way, and you work really close with them to try and make the car better. And especially on our team, everyone's super passionate, so they've been like a part of the project since the beginning, so they're working just as hard as I am to make the car faster and work with me to try and set things up better and do this or that. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gotta make it a lot better, and even the tough times, um, make it like what was Argentina where he had a little glitch in the program and but I mean disappointing, but it's not like every person on the team wasn't given 1,000% from the driver to the guy that sweeps out the bivouac afterwards.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like even Argentina, some things happen and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Like in Argentina, we were leading the rally, and on the last stage, the one of the upper arms broke, and we didn't really hit anything. It was just one of those things. It was a bad weld that finally just gave up. And thankfully, we were able to drive the car to like the fuel stop. Our teammate Nico, thanks to him, he saved the rally for us and gave us his arm, changed it just in time, and made it to the finish of the stage, and won that rally. But yeah, things like that happen, and it's no one's fault, and everyone learns from it. And they went back and figured out a better way to weld the arms, and now we've never had a problem again. So they
Yeah.
work super hard to figure out, if we have an issue, they work really hard to figure out what happened, why it happened, and how to fix it, and then it never happens again. So it's
Well,
a lot of hard work behind it.
yeah, that's really cool when you have a whole team with a common goal and the common passion because, you know, it's like you guys win together, you lose together, you fix stuff together. Everybody's behind you 1,000%. That's pretty freaking cool because that's not always how it is, and I'm sure you see it, especially on the international stuff. Um, that sometimes it's just that's the wheel, that's the driver, and we do what we do, and.
Yeah, definitely. It's especially at like Dakar and all those races, the team effort is the biggest thing, and it's not just the mechanics and everyone; it's the all the other drivers. So I'm really lucky this year at Dakar and like Argentina, like I just explained, we started. We did Dakar in a couple races, and I was just the lone warrior. So I was
Yeah.
one car team against 20 or 30 Can-Ams at every race. So that's one of the coolest things for me, is to be able to like put up a fight when we had a really large team, that was competing against us. And then now I'm really thankful that they've built more cars, that our team has been built up a lot. And now we have, I don't know what it is exactly, but maybe like 5 or 6 cars. So
Oh, wow.
you go to Dakar, and everyone's battling each other. But as the race progresses, if someone's on your team and they're leading the race, and you're a bit behind and you see them broken, you're going to help them. So that's something really cool, and that you kind of have to have at Dakar. And
Mhm.
so it'll be nice to have it this year.
Yeah, yeah, because last 23 this year, you were a one car show, right?
Yeah, like this
Yeah,
year at Dakar, we were leading the overall, and that's another thing. Like no one's fault. The steering rack seized up. It was just set a little wrong or something. So couldn't even turn the wheel. So we had to remove the rack and wait for the truck, which was 3 hours behind us. And then your race is it's kind of over. And when you're in that situation, you're leading the overall. You may have a teammate that had a bad day, and they swap out their steering rack, and then you get going in under an hour, and then you're still in it. So
yeah,
that's where the camaraderie and having good teammates comes in, and other cars that are the exact same as yours. So that'll be huge, especially this year.
for sure. So how long is it? Because uh I know because a little bird told me, and it's documented also that you jumped in a T1, and that was how was that?
It was awesome. I've gotten a couple opportunities through the years with Red Bull to get some hot laps in T1s, and that was with the Ford team. So Ford's like, for me, is the dream, and they're getting into it. I think in 2025. So they've been kind of doing like a test year, just racing that car and getting things ready for when they're all in, hopefully eventually. So yeah, it's been really cool, and to be able to drive that car and talk to their engineers and all the guys, and be a part of it for just a little bit. It was super quick, but getting that opportunity with everyone was really cool. And for all the guys that were out there, they did a whole thing for a lot of the young guys. And I think we had like 6 cars out there of T1s that everyone was driving. So
Wow.
it definitely was exciting. And to get in the Ford, that would have been my first choice. So I was stoked.
Are those those were obviously more set up for testing and et cetera like that. But are they limited? Because you run your T3 class, you run on electronically limited, like they limit your ECU for boost or horsepower or both, I guess.
Yeah, they have the T1s have a limit. Every car has a speed limit.
Oh, okay.
T4 is 125 kilometers. T3 is 135. T1, I can't remember, but it's 100 and something miles an hour, I think, that they can go.
Nice.
Right up there. So yeah, they're all limited. And that's kind of one of the cool things about the rally raid stuff is like I said earlier, is they're all pretty close. And then it comes down to like driver setup, who can get their car the lightest, stuff like that. So the cars are, totally different, of course. And I won't say they're the same for sure, but the amount of power at least is close between all of them. So it makes for really good racing.
Now, go ahead, Lauren.
No, go ahead.
Was the T1, did it handle like you thought it would? Because I'm sure you had a preconception in your mind of how the car would handle the body roll and the power it's putting down. Was it kind of what you thought it would be, or was it just everything you had a premonition on got thrown out the window?
It was kind of what I thought it would be. Unfortunately, the track that they kind of had built out it didn't really have too much to it. So it's kind of just flat corners and flat roads. But the cool thing is that I love is the car that I race now, the T3. It's a super good stepping stone for getting into a T1 because it has, the sequential shifter. It's built a lot like a mini T1 basically. So I'm able to get out of that and go into a T1 and feel pretty at home as far as like the shifting, the feeling of the car and everything. Of course, it's very different, but it's definitely not going from like a trophy truck to a razor. It's not quite that big of a leap. So it's really cool for me because it's nice to be able to hop in and be really comfortable right off the bat.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is there like anything you can tell us about the future as far as that goes?
No, that's the goal for sure, is going into a T1. So, for me, just have to keep trying to do good. So if the car this year big and try and, obviously go for the win, of course, like we always are, but, that's the goal always, is a T1. So I hope sooner rather than later, I have some good news, but, for now, just kind of doing my thing, trying to get those wins, and, I'm hoping they see it for sure.
Yeah, I would sure there'd be a hell of a party around here if you overall Dakar, I'll tell you that. So
Same for me.
we so after Dakar comes this little race in the US, hardly known, hardly ever talked about, called King of the Hammers. And last time you were on, we talked about it a little bit. So I'm prying now. Like, do we see a Guthrie Junior Senior coalition coming? Do we see separate cars, same team? Anything like that? Well, at least that you can tell us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell you everything. Last year I missed out on King of the Hammers, so we're back this year. I'm signed up. We're racing, so I'll be racing a Pro R in the rock race. So that'll be a lot of fun. I just got the vehicle not too long ago. It's one of the Polaris factory cars. It's really close to what they're kind of racing in Baja, and then we're gonna, of course, do it up and change it up a lot and make it into more of a rock vehicle. So really excited for that. Unfortunately, my dad's not racing this year, but I think I'll have to make that my goal for next year is to get my dad racing with us under the Guthrie Racing crew. And yeah, it's a bummer not having the old 6-time out there racing, but I know he'll be back for sure. And thankfully I have him because I leave for Dakar, and there's a lot to do between right now, Dakar and King of the Hammers. So super thankful, like him and my mom and the guys at the shop, Curtis and Jarrett, they do a great job of prepping everything. So I'm able to go to Dakar and race my race and not be stressed out and come home and everything's magically ready. And we go to King of the Hammers. So yeah, super thankful on that.
Yeah, and you leave early for Dakar, right? Don't you usually leave like right after Christmas?
Yeah. Usually, it's like the past 3 years I've left on Christmas twice and the day after once.
Wow.
So I'm really thankful. That sucks. It's not a lot of fun. So they finally pushed it back. So it's pushed back about 5 days. So now we'll be leaving around the first of the year, which is amazing because we'll be able to enjoy Christmas and then have a few days to get ready, and then boom, we're out of here to Dakar. So it's a lot better. I don't know why they didn't do that sooner, so everyone can enjoy their Christmas, but it's going to be nice this year.
That's really cool. I guess I didn't realize that they pushed the dates back, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't been looking at the dates. I just look at the course maps and all that stuff, and you guys' prep stuff. I saw you send the team off, I guess. Just what, last week before?
Yeah, the team. There's a deadline that most of the teams are in Europe, so there's a deadline. There's a boat that basically takes all the vehicles, all the parts, and everything, and at least the vehicles, takes them to the port, which is in Yanbu, Saudi Arabia, and then everyone picks it up there, the stuff up there on the first. So yeah, everyone's kind of got a deadline. Of course, you can fly the cars in or something on a plane, but most people it's a little more expensive. So
Yeah.
everyone has a deadline. I think it's right at the end of it, somewhere in November, where everyone has to get their cars on the boat and then they're off to Saudi Arabia. So my car's on there somewhere on the way.
Yeah. Awesome. And so what do you do when you're over there? Like that looked like the vehicle in your social media. Follow him at Mitch Guthrie 5 on Instagram. Always great content. But the rig that you sent off looked like kind of an RV, but kind of a hauler. Is that your quarters when you're over there, or?
No, so yeah, all the drivers we get like a little camper. It's not the camper you would expect, like you see here in the States. That's a 40-foot RV. It's a little guy. So that's really nice. We're lucky that we get those. I mean, the mechanics, those guys, they're intense the entire time. So it's tough for them, but we're lucky to be able to get some good sleep. And those guys work hard. But yeah, if you look, and you'll see in like some of the vlogs we have with the new team, the Wevers, who does all the logistics, everything.
Yeah.
They do a lot of rally stuff. So they have some really cool trailers and rigs. So like that one in particular, in the front, you have a really nice, it's kind of like an engineer's like room and meeting room and stuff. So it's got a couple couches and table and coffee maker and stuff. And then
Oh yeah.
backside, you have the like storage area. So I think they can put a car up in there. And then it's just like it's packed with parts and everything you can imagine in a big lift gate. So it's pretty cool. It's like a little bit of both. It's got a camper and like the garage in the back. And then on top of that, I'm not sure what else they're bringing as far as like for logistics, but usually for Dakar they bring out everything. So we'll have a lot of vehicles because they need a lot of parts. So they got all the the big trucks, as everyone has seen, that have all the parts, tools, welders, everything you can imagine is rolling on wheels and
Yeah.
goes every single bivouac.
That the race trucks, the big race trucks,
Mm-hmm.
those things, one, they're insane. Two, they're insanely fast. Three, how bad do you want to drive one of those?
That'd be really cool. They kind of scare me a little bit. Those things are so big. I don't know how they don't roll them or what, because they go through the same dunes as us. It's crazy. I've seen it. So yeah, those things are, I think no one really understands until, like, if you were to be out there and see them on course. They're really fast. They're super quick, and they can, you have a lot of areas out there where the course is like this. You're on a plateau and it's super rocky, and you have a trail from all the cars, and those guys just go straight. So they just make the course straight, and it's crazy. I've had times where I'm way behind them. If you have a bad day or something, and the difference in the course, it's the same thing if like 50 trophy trucks went through there or something. It's just destroyed. So those things are crazy, basically.
That's pretty awesome. I know that's a real favorite. Well, it used to be probably Cole's favorite class of Dakar until
Yeah.
until you and AJ and Seth and Ricky um started racing there, and then it's like, oh man, we got to support our boys.
Priorities have shifted.
The second favorite now.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
We send each other reels of those trucks doing stupid things all the time. So
Oh yeah.
it's one of those things. Yeah. So yeah. So you're doing, I had a note to ask you about your schedule next year, but it's like we already covered that, where you're doing even more desert racing, even more racing in the US, or there's desert?
Yeah, right now the plan is, I guess, just to give you the schedule, is going to be King of the Hammers. We're doing the Best in Desert race that's in February, the first one of the year. Then to the Mint. Then we'll do Silver State, Vegas to Reno, and we're still nailing them down. But it's looking like we're probably going to do a couple Ultra 4 races this year. I know there's one in Crandon that we might make it to, and one in Havasu at the end of the year. So trying to get into more Ultra 4. So, this car that I'm racing from, the Polaris factory car, kind of build it up, race King of the Hammers, do a couple Ultra 4 races, and keep learning. So when we go into, King of the Hammers 2025, we're even more prepared. So that's kind of the goal, is, spend a lot of the year learning and testing and hopefully winning. And then just keep that going into the next year and keep building it up.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, I hope you get out to the Havasu one, because if it's I should be home that weekend if it's around the same time as last year. So sometime in late October, I should be home. It'd sure be great to see you. And I'll be out there. I'll be out there. I'll paint my face half blue and be out there.
Our mascot, team mascot.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
yeah. Somebody's got to do it. So one of the questions I came up with, because I re-listened to your last one with us. So all your social media, FaceTiming your mom, I'm assuming FaceTiming your girlfriend or fiance.
Yeah.
Fiance, yes. And that has changed since you were on last. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
Yeah, we appreciate her for being patient with us and your schedule. You are the only guest we've had on 3 times
Oh, wow. Thank you.
in 65 episodes.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I'm glad to be here for the third.
Yeah, we're glad you are too. But so when you're overseas, how does your cellular data work? I know it's a random question, but like I've had people ask me, well, do they have to do this through a sat phone? And I'm like, I have no idea. I would assume.
No, yeah, I mean, trying to think. Yeah, usually, well, I mean, I have Verizon, so I have international. If you go over a certain amount per day, you got to pay like $5 to get them to not slow it down. So got to do that sometimes, which is annoying. But yeah, usually it works normal. In Dakar, we go out an empty quarter, they call it, which is just sand dunes for hundreds of miles. So you're in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, sometimes it's crazy because last year, one of the bivouacs we were at for a couple days, there was zero service. So, and I didn't know that. So we raced all day and then finished and went to that bivouac, and I had no service for a couple days. And it's tough when you can't, I can't FaceTime or call or text my fiance or my parents or anyone. And it's weird sometimes for sure, but we got Starlinks now, so we should be good. But yeah, it is a good question because most of the time we're good, but sometimes you show up to the bivouac and you got nothing, and you can't contact anyone really.
Yeah, I know. Dude, it's frustrating. Even like, uh, I just was up in Boise. I drove to Boise and I went up the 93, just out of Vegas there, kind of up. What's the race that's over there? Is that Silver State that's over that way?
Yeah,
Over towards Caliente and all
yeah,
that? Yeah. So I went up 93. Really wanted to go on the extraterrestrial highway, but I didn't really have time in my schedule. Um, but there's areas on that 93 that between Vegas and Ely, and then when you get up north of Ely, there's some spots where you don't have service for like. I was like, maybe I should look into Starlink because there's
yeah,
nothing out there, and you've got the cruise set at 80, let's say, and and there's nobody around. Like I came out of Ely at like, I don't know, 5 in the morning or something. So once I got through all the twisty stuff, and it was like 6 miles of nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, holy cow. I did find ways to entertain myself. Um, Cool.
I just can't believe you're comparing Highway 93 to Saudi Arabia. That's just what
Well,
I'm laughing about.
service wise, I'm just talking about
Yeah,
service wise. It's just,
exactly.
but like your empty quarter is, I can't imagine. Like, can any of us even imagine 2 days without like our cell phones anymore?
No one can. And yeah, it's crazy out there. I mean, you can't imagine what it looks like out there when you're going down these highways that are just built into the dunes basically. And I mean, like I can't even describe it because you just look literally in every direction forever. And it's like you realize that the highway that you're driving on is on top of, like a 100 a foot tall dune. It's like just sand
Wow.
up. So you look out in every direction. I can't imagine being in like a helicopter or something because it's just forever. It's dunes. So you're out there sometimes.
Wow. And that's and the other side of that is you have to race through that stuff, like hundreds of miles of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's long days, especially depends on the dunes. Sometimes you have big dunes that are more fast, but some days you get into like the smaller dunes depending on the areas, and you're just going up and down super quick, and it's really tough on the body. And a lot of the times you're midday, so you can't really see like at all. So yeah, the dunes are gnarly. It gets hot. It's just crazy. So especially like I remember even last year towards the end of the rally, when you're pushing hard, going for stage wins, and it's stage 12 or something, and you're driving for 3 or 4 hours straight, no stop, pushing super hard through like gnarly dunes, and it's crazy for sure. And that's just one day out of the rally.
Well, and out there, like you have virtually zero reference points. Like you're 100% what road book and GPS or
Yeah, you're just reading the road book and following the lines from the T1s that, made lines in the sand. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of the times you have mountains and stuff, so you're following the heading on that your co-driver's calling out, and you kind of pick a point out there so you can kind of stay on line. But yeah, when you're on the dunes, the one thing people don't realize too is, you have the bikes in front, so the lead T1, kind of follows their lines and stays close to it at least, and then everyone just kind of follows suit. So sometimes you're out there and me and Kellen have had plenty of times where, you're kind of getting off the heading, but you don't want to be that guy that goes off the line of tracks and, ends up getting lost or something. So it's crazy, you got to really trust your co-driver. And sometimes we'll do it, or like these guys are going this way kind of at an angle when we need to be going straight. So we'll make our own line and try to gain time. But, a lot of the times when you're in the dunes, you're kind of just following the line, trying to go as fast as you can. Sometimes one interesting thing is, you'll be on like kind of more of a lake bed, and you'll have like a dune that's hundreds of feet tall. It's just crazy. It has like tons of steps to it.
Wow.
It's like a bunch of dunes built into dunes, and that's where you're going, and you have to work with your co-driver because you have some time to look at it, and you have to stare at it and kind of pick which line you think is going to be the best, because it'll have it's like a spider web of everyone trying to get up. So those are the times when it's really fun, because you have to pick a line and just send it. And sometimes you'll be halfway up the dune and you have to turn around and then go down into a bowl to get speed and keep going. So that's when it's really fun. And you can gain time too if you're, really good with your co-rider like Kellen.
Yeah, and you guys have been racing together even in the US now.
Yeah. Kellen's been riding with me in the US, and it's been good. He's awesome, of course, great co-rider. Everyone knows he's kind of a legend. So I've been to end up with him in the car for Rally Raid, and he's awesome. He does such a good job, and me and him get along really well. So he's a huge part of the success this last year. It's a lot of it's on the co-rider to work together with me, and I feel like we work really well together. So it's really good, and it's a lot of fun. And then it only makes sense that he hops in with me in the UTV here in the Polaris. So yeah, it's been fun, and it's cool when you have the same person. I drive 5,000 miles with him at the car, and then hop in for the next race here in the States. So it's fun.
Now, is he going to do King of the Hammers with you?
I don't know. We're figuring that out. Kellen's never been there, so I don't think he doesn't want to do it super bad. He's more of a desert guy. So we're still figuring that out. We'll see. But usually he's in the car with me. If it's not King of the Hammers, it's the rest of the races of the year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you guys obviously are very simpatico, if you will, because you don't knock out as many Dakar stage wins and Rally Raid stage wins and Rally Raid wins and wins desert racing if you guys couldn't get along in the car or didn't trust each other. So that's a huge deal for sure. So
yeah, I mean, last year, when was it? Last year, around this time or a little bit before, is when we first got in the car together. So I had another co-rider, Ola, who I was with for a while, switched over to Kellen, and he just kind of hopped in with me and just got going. And it's kind of crazy, thinking back, like I didn't really know Kellen really at all, and he just kind of hopped in and we just got going. So it's good that he trusted me. It ended up working out well.
Oh, that's awesome. I would trust you. I put a blindfold on if I didn't have to read like roadbooks and GPS and stuff. But man, Mitchie, it's been so awesome. What have you got any special top secret insights to Dakar 2024 for us?
Oh yeah. Just kidding. No, nothing too crazy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people already know. But I think everyone that's, racing it, and I've been talking to people, is that I think this is going to be a really, really tough year. You look at Morocco and Argentina, like two of the hard races we've done. And I think the longest stage between those two is maybe like 370 kilometers, which is pretty long. And then you look at Dakar when they did the presentation, the first 3 days are in the 400s. I think they're over the 450s. So 450, 470 kilometer days. I'm not sure what that is in miles, but I think it's over 300 or around there. So that's really long. So they're starting hot out of the gate with some really tough stages. They have a new marathon stage, which is a 2-day, 600-kilometer stage where on day one, you go as far as you can, basically. And they're going to have, I think it's about 8 different bivouacs set up. So when you get to a certain time in the day, I think it's 4:00, you basically stop and you go to the next bivouac, sleep there for the night in a tent, and everyone's going to be spread out between all these bivouacs. So you're not going to really know where you're at on times and everything between everyone. And then wake up the next morning and restart the stage and finish it. And I mean, that's a 600-kilometer day, I think, in the dunes, or 600 kilometers over 2 days. So that's going to be gnarly. Everyone knows stage 2 from last year was a super gnarly stage. It was full rocks for 4 hours straight or something. It was a gnarly stage. Caught a lot of people off guard and took a lot of people out in stage 2. And I know that we're going through that area, I believe, towards the end of the rally. So usually towards the end, they make it easier for us. But it's starting out tough. The middle is going to be tough. The end's going to be tough. So, and it's long, 14 days. So yeah, overall, my insight is it's going to be really hard this year. So long days, and got to be prepared for it. Try and keep her together. I think I don't know if it'll be as much of a sprint as usual, but we'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I have full confidence that you've got it in hand, and that you guys will do very well. We're excited to see the social media, and the vlog afterwards should be wow.
Yeah, we're gonna Greg, that comes with me to all the races, he'll be there with me. So we're gonna be posting every single day. Love having him out there, so we're able to give everyone updates and keep everyone in the loop. So if everyone goes and follows, then you can see all the behind the scenes and what's going on every single day. So it should be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Cole, what do you got? We should probably look at wrapping up. So
Yeah, I know you gotta get packing here because you're basically gone from now till we'll call it February 18th when you do the Golden State 250. So last question for you, Mitch. I'm dying to know, this might be top secret, but is the mustache coming back at Dakar?
I think it will.
All right, good.
yes.
Yeah, can't give you too many secrets, but I think it's going to be there.
Fair enough.
You guys asked for it.
It's Cole is such a hard hitter, man.
I know, that was a big one.
That's why we're a controversial show, but that's why we have the viewership we do.
I love it. That's how you switch it up right there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Mitchie, thank you. I guess I don't get mad. I still call you Mitchie.
That's no problem. Don't worry.
It's, it's funny when I was listening to that other episode, we were talking about King of the Hammers, just real quick. I realized that the very first year that you and your dad was driving, you were co-driving. It was the first year I sponsored you through Muzzies, and that was my first win at King of the Hammers.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Here we go.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I still have pictures of you and your dad in front of that car, and the bright yellow car with the neon green Muzzy logo right behind the numbers midway up on the door. And you, I think you were like maybe 15, 14.
Yeah.
You looked like you were 9, but Your dad looked much younger back then too, which is really strange.
Well, I did too. Everyone did.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Yeah, that,
So I just want to say thank you for that because I don't think I got around to thanking you last time. And speaking of thank yous, I know you have a whole bunch of people to say people and companies say thank you to. So floor is yours, my friend.
oh yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks to my fiance Adriana that's over here next to me. My mom, my dad, Curtis and Jared at the shop, especially this time of year. It's super busy. So I'm thankful for my family and the guys at the shop for keeping everything going and making it easy on me. So that's awesome. And then, of course, all the sponsors. We got Red Bull, Polaris Razor, BFG Tires, KMC Wheels, Walker Evans Racing Shocks, Rigid Industries, Sparco, VP Race Fuels. And I think I got everyone that time. I'm proud of myself. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Nicely done too. That was well executed. Uh, yeah, man. I can't just speaking of Sparko, I can't wait to see all your new Dakar kits.
Oh yeah, it's almost time. I haven't
Yeah,
even either, so I can't wait.
that's pretty rad. Cole, you got anything else?
Nope. Just as always, thanks for coming on and thanks for being such a good ambassador for the Americans.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Mitchy. Thank you, and good luck at the car. We'll be cheering you on. We'll be watching the daily TV shows. Hopefully, they have a new announcer that pronounces your name properly. Um, but I've made peace with that supposedly, so we're all good. Thank you so much for jumping in here, coming along for the ride. And if you want to really be along for the ride, go to at Mitch Guthrie 5 on his Instagram or the YouTube channel Guthrie Racing and subscribe, like, and follow. And you can get all the behind the scenes stuff that you don't see every day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Mitch. Good luck. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Man, I'll always love the insight. And it's so funny because you get so much candid from Mitch, but you also get all this technical info, but he puts it into like relatable terms, for the average person, if you will, or you know what I mean? There's a
No, no,
better
no.
way
I
to
know, I
say
know
that.
exactly what you mean. And man, I sound like, well, I'll use the word ambassador, but his vlog is perfect in that way because it really shows pre-race stuff. It shows the trials and tribulations. It shows his daily stages, how long the liaisons are, how long the specials are. So you can really come into his his vlogs not knowing a whole lot about racing, and you see his personality, how he treats his crew guys, how important the crew guys are to him, and like I said, like the daily struggles of it. So if you like this episode, you'll love the vlog because it's exactly that, but you get to see the sights and the sounds of what he does.
Yeah, yeah, he really is. He's a great ambassador for the sport, motorsport, off-road motorsports, and he's a great ambassador for all of us here in the US.
Absolutely. And yeah, he and all the Red Bull kids are
Yep.
we couldn't have a better group showing them how it's done overseas.
No, and that's the thing. We tend to get this as Americans, usually the racers overseas um, tend to kind of get shuffled to the back on the media coverage and all that. But these guys are like they're stomping their feet in victory lane and they're forcing them to cover the talented Americans.
Yeah, when you're on the podium, it would be a little immoral to ignore that storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, what a great episode. I can't wait. I'm super excited for the holidays. I'm done traveling.
Oh,
I
wow.
am working on a special top secret build project right now. I've somehow ended up doing a full audio build. um, and we'll talk about that at some point, probably the next episode. When we also recap Madison, Wisconsin 2024 Kicker AMA Arena Cross Championships round 3. And we still have the Kicker AMA Arena Cross Championships round 1 and 2 Boise to cover. But we've just had so many guests that have been so great that I'm like, who wants to hear me talk, you know? So we got some exciting stuff coming up and launching into New Year. Um, even more exciting stuff, some big announcements and stuff like that. So with that, we want to be sure and thank our long-term favorite partners, Kicker Performance Audio, kicker.com, or on Instagram at Kicker Audio, also on Facebook, Kicker. Find them on YouTube at Kicker Unmasked Live for their TV show every other Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, and all the facets of Bomber Eyewear. These things are just about indestructible. They've saved my eyes. I always get the polarized safety lens in all of my, whether I'm wearing the white boogie bombs, the white pipe bombs, the white tiger bombs, or my safety choice, the sugar bombs or sake bombs. Check them out, bombereyewear.com or on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. All your MC and event announcer needs, hit him up at the Premix Podcast on Instagram, the at symbol ThePremixPodcast. That's our boy Cole. Also sharing all kinds of desert racing through the lens of his camera. If you got a race coming up, man, 2024, you need to book him. You got a race coming up, book him, get pictures for you. Hit him up on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. If you haven't caught any of our episodes on YouTube yet, go to our YouTube channel, MAddOG Media, MAddOG MEDIA, and you will see the incredible work of our girl Kelsey at Kelsey Morrell Film editing. She works tireless hours. You may go on there and say there's only how many ever episodes on right now, but she is working hours and hours on our episodes, getting them refined and ready, balanced as you and I can be. I mean, we're basically unbalanced people, but we're simpatico.
Good word.
In our unbalance. I've used it twice this episode because I like it. And then, of course, all our social media, our new templates, everything that we've had on the social media, even the latest video that we popped is all compliments of Hey Keeks Marketing. And she can handle anything from building you a website to maintaining your website to handling your social media, creating a brand for you, creating a logo for you, marketing materials, or managing a full-on social media influencer campaign. If you need help, yell, Hey Keeks. Find her online, heykeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Keeks Marketing. Cole, what you got?
Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Dude, that is so polished. I wish I could be that polished. Great job. Great show. Thank you so much. I know you got a case of the sniffles going. Thanks for toughing it out tonight, hanging in there. Dude, Just appreciate everything you do so much. Final comment.
Final comment is District 38 AMA Desert Racing is over, and I don't want to talk about it right now.
Wah, wah. We'll cover that in the next episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. On to the next.
2024, let's go.
Episode 66 coming your way. Thank you, Mitch Guthrie Jr., for this great insight in episode 65. Mad Dog out.